No, for Hebrew school and for my bar mitzvah and all that. I can't let anyone remember.
My wife's best girlfriend is not Jewish, but she lived in Livingston. She says when her kids went to so many bar mitzvahs that her asked for.
All the time.
I was supposed to bring back the crate for the dog. So what's happening?
It's too late. She's gone for it in my bed. We need her in to pick them up, so we need to drop it off on the way home.
All right, you're gonna have to text me her address.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, I'll call her before I leave, and then I still have to get the cherries?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
I haven't sung any of this stuff in like a year and a half.
That's okay. That's okay. As long as we get it going.
Yeah.
First couple of notes and then.
Oh yeah, everybody joins it. Well, everybody.
Whoever. Well, I'm sure if you have 2 more minutes, or Dennis would do a military time.
Well, we're holding down this side, we're holding down this side.
Is that the bride's side or the
Holding
groom's
down this
side?
side.
Julie, is that the bride's side or the groom's side?
No one here.
Get the glasses. I'm lucky at 70 years old, I just started wearing glasses.
Did you really? I'm at the point now where like, I normally put some up here, but if I have to read, down like that. Can't do it.
Well, I guess we can get started. Good Shabbos, everybody. How's everybody doing? Or actually, you know, I was thinking about it when I was in the Army, I would go to shul every now and then in Savannah. And it was funny hearing the rabbi going, "How y'all doing today? We're going to go through this service." And I'm going, whoa, this shouldn't be. You know, being a New Jersey boy, New York City area, it was kind of tough to get used to, but good Shabbos to everybody. For those of you who don't know me, okay, this is Rachel Kroner. I'm Joel Waldman. I think everybody else knows me for the most part. So we're going to be beginning our service with Shalom Aleichem.
Page 24.
Give everybody a second. Now, again, I'm used to doing Saturday mornings, so there may be a little variation. You know, Rachel will hopefully help out.
I haven't done this in a year and a half, so hopefully Joel will help out.
We won't have to return the money.
All right, here we go.
All right.
Shalom
Aleichem, Malachei Hashem, Malachei Elyon, Melech Baruch Hu, B'nei Hashalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, V'melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Marchei L'Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, V'melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedkem Shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, V'melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. We then our next part of the service is Mayafei Hayom. Page 10. Mayafei Hayom. Shalom. Shalom. Mayafei Hayom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shabbat, Shalom. Shabbat, Shalom.
We then, our next part of the service is the candle blessing. I have tremors.
I'll
I will light.
I'll light the candles and I'll do the thing. All right. Surprise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Thank you, Mike. We continue with our service with Lecha Dodi.
Page 20. We're going to do 1, 2, and 9. And of course, at 9, we're going to stand up and greet the seventh bride. Lecha lecha dodi, lekra lekra kala, v'nei shalom v'kala. Lecha lecha dodi, lekra lekra kala, v'nei shalom v'kala. Sha'or v'zachor v'diber echad, Hishmi'anu elcham echad, Adonai echad, Shema echad. L'shem tiveret Elohim tila la 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 lecha dodi, lekra lekra kala, v'nei shalom v'kala. Lecha lecha dodi, lekra lekra kala, Penei Shabbat Kabbalah, Likra Shabbat lechu v'nilcha, Ki mikor habracha, Merosh mikdem nesucha, Sofma aseh v'machashvat achiv la 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 lecha dodi, Likra lekra kala, Penei Shabbat Kabbalah. Lecha lecha dodi, lekra lekra kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela.
Please rise.
Bo'vi v'shalom ma'terech Gam simcha u'v'tova, Toch emunah yasula, Bo'icha lecha dodi, lekra lekra kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha lecha dodi, lekra lekra kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela.
Please be seated. Please rise now for the Baruch Hu. So, we're doing tushy exercises, right?
La 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 Baruch et Adonai, Hamevorach, Hamevorach, Baruch Adonai, Hamevorach, Le'olam, Le'olam va'ed. Praise be Adonai, to whom our praise is due. Praise be Adonai, to whom our praise is due. Praise be Adonai, to whom our praise is due, now and forever.
Please be seated. Take a rest. want me to do the Ma'ariv Aravim? Okay. We're going to now do the Ma'ariv Aravim. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher b'varo Ma'ariv Aravim. B'chachma poseach sha'arim, uvenuma misaneh aravim, umachaliv et hazmanim, umasader et hakokavim, b'bishmerosehem barakia kirtzono. Borei yom v'layla, kolel or mipnei choshech. V'choshech mipnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla. Umavdil ben yom uvein layla. Adonai tzvaot shemo. El chai v'kayam tamid yimloch l'aleinu v'olam v'ed. Baruch atah Adonai ha'ma'ariv aravim. We continue our service now with the Ahavot Olam.
Page 32.
As I said, these hands are not good. Ahavot Olam, Beit Yisrael Amcha, Ohavta, Toras Umitzvot, Kukim Umishpatim, Osanu La'amot, Al Ken Adonai Eloheinu, B'shachdeinu U'v'kumenu, Nosiach V'chu Kerecha, V'nishmach B'vorei Torasecha, U'mitzvosecha Li'olam Va'ed, Kihem Seinu V'yorech Yomenu V'ahem Nege Yomam V'alala V'anachnu Al Tasir Limene V'olamim Baruch atah Adonai Ohei Amo Yisrael. For those who are able, does anyone want, we're going to do audience participation on page, well, on this it's 151. If you would like to do a reading on the page before the Shema.
Shema is on 34 and 35.
No? You want to read?
Which one would you like me to read?
You want to?
Okay, on 151.
Sure.
Okay. We worship the power that unites the universe, a promise of harmony for all. Yet that oneness eludes our grasp as imperfection and evil abound. Before our eyes, there is a vision of perfection, order, and goodness. There is evil enough to break the heart, and there is good enough to exalt the soul. When will redemption come? When we grant everyone what we claim for ourselves. Long ago, we escaped the tyranny of Egypt. Our people saw the power of the Most High. We learned God's presence redeems time and event, so we celebrate this power that makes for freedom.
Those who are able, please rise for the Shema.
Shema
Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated. The V'ahavta. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavecha v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol me'odecha v'hayu advarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayam alavavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibatam bam v'shivtecha b'veisecha uv'lechtecha b'derech uv'shachbecha uv'kumecha Ukshartam le'ot zayotzecha, vehayu lototofot b'nei necha, usaftam amazuzo besecha, uvisharecha, leman tizkeru, vasisem es kol mitzvotai, vishem kadoshim lelohechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher Hotzesi Eschem, Me'eretz Mitzrayim, Liot Lahem Le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem, Adonai Elohechem, Amen. We now continue service with the English reading on the next page, standing on the park shores. Anyone? Anyone? Go on, Jack.
Standing on the parted shores of history, we still believe that we were taught before ever we stood at Sinai's foot, that wherever we go, we return to Egypt, that there is a better place, a promised land, that the winding way to that promise passes through the wilderness, that there is no way to get from here to there except by joining hands and marching together.
Thank you. And now we do the Hashkivenu. I'm sorry, the Michon Wachat. Yeah. When your hands don't work, you go. Page 40. Mi chamocha boilim Adonai, mi chamocha nedor bakodesh. No rasa hilot, o sefela. No rasa hilot, o sefela. Malchusecha. Ra'uvanecha bokeyam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam ze'eli u'anuvi amaru Adonai imlok le'olam ba'ed. V'nemar ki podeh Adonai et Yaakov ugolo miad chazak mimenu. Baruch atah Adonai goel Yisrael. Okay, now in English. Anyone give us a place to rest? This is audience participation.
Give us a place.
Give us a
rest on
place.
Page 43.
Okay, Pam.
Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us shelter in the soft, long, easy shadows of your truth. For with you our true protection and safety, and in your presence our acceptance and gentle life. Like over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours.
Now we continue the service. My hands will work. Yep. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'sholam v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel. For your name's sake, be our help. Shield and shelter us beneath the wing of your the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow, and politicians. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore. Baruch atah Adonai, haparesh sukat shalom oleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael v'al Yerushalayim. Blessed are you, Adonai, God of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. We now turn the page to the Shamru. 44. I have the tefillah, so I don't have the corresponding pages, so what do I know? Vishamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledoratom barit olam. You want to continue? Beini uvein v'nei Yisrael oti leolam oti leolam v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledoratom barit olam. Keshet yamin asa Adonai Adonai et hashamayim v'et haaretz v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledoratom barit olam. Uveyom hashvi Shabbat v'yinafash Shabbat v'yinafash Shabbat v'yinafash v'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledoratom barit olam. I hate to ask it, guys, but you're going to be rising again soon, so get a little rest. 2 more seconds. We're going to be rising for the introduction to the tefillah. Please rise if you are able. Adonai sefata tiftach ufi agite hilasecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise.
Next page. Baruch atah Adonai,
Eloheinu v'Elohei Avosseinu v'Imoseinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasodim Tovim, V'Koneh HaKol, V'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'Mevi Gula Livnei Bneihem, L'man Shemo B'Ahava, Melech Ozer, U'Moshiach U'Magen. Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Vezrat Sarah.
Next page.
Ator Gibo Leolam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atorah Loshia. Mori Pata, Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim Verofei Holim, Umatzmir Ashurim, Umechayeh Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Gevurot, Umidom Elach,
Melech memit u'mechaye u'matzmiach Yeshua.
V'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol. Baruch atah Adonai mechaye
hakol. Next page.
Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh
u'kedoshim b'chol yom lehalucha selah. Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh.
Please be seated. We are now going to continue with the Kadosh Hayom.
We're on page 55, English, top of the page, may these hours.
Jen, you want to read that? May these hours of rest and renewal. In there.
All right, we're on page 57. Who wants to read Ever Present? All right, go ahead.
No,
She'otcha levadcha b'yira na'avod.
different in this book. Anyone else? We got one more passage to be read. Bobby, would you like to read? We're going to be reading Grant Abundant Peace. Do you have the page?
Page 60.
We now continue
Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav on page, also on page 60.
Also
Correct.
on page 60.
As I said, it's not,
There
it doesn't correspond.
you go.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tosim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tosim Leolam. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Ki atahu melech Adon lechol hashalom. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Bechol Ed. Well, I don't know this part. That's okay. That's okay. We did fine. Okay. We now take a moment for silent prayer. We are now in a point at which hopefully we've shaken off the drudgery of our normal work week and are able to start chilling. The one thing I liked about Rabbi Emily is she would start the service by saying, all right, close your eyes and just separate, your Shabbos from your, what has happened over the last 5-6 days. So hard to do. better. We continue with the Oseh Shalom, page 62. Oseh Shalom Brimamam, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu, Ve'al Kol Yisrael, V'imru, Imru, Amen. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, V'al Kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu, V'al Kol Yisrael. We are then going to continue with the Misha Berach on page 253.
May the one who blessed our ancestors, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bless and heal those who are ill. Tonight we are naming Greg Bennett, Michael Buren, Andrea Kempner Blake, Scott Gordon, Patricia Habel, Rebecca Gottlieb, Julian Howell, Thomas Costings, Zachary Jackson, Dane Marcinowski, Berko Shravatsky, Jim McCann, Debbie Perry, Fran Porras, Frank Fusaro, Bruce Harold, Lorraine Wellington, Matea Press, David Spanger, Marcia Pinsky Koblitz, Jack Hall, Joe Riley, Joseph Pissetzner,
Pissetzner, I guess.
Sorry, Joseph. And Eddie Francis.
Easier.
And if any of you have a name that you'd like to add to this, please say it now.
Mishebera Avotenu Mikor HaBracha Limotenu. May the source of strength who blessed the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Mishevera imotenu mikor habracha le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. Quick Devar Torah. I'm going to be doing a quick Devar Torah. It was interesting. I remember telling Craig that one of the sections of the Parsha is interesting because it talks about the slaughter of animals and being a vegetarian. Again, I find it completely abhorrent, this portion, but that's another story. But this is from Chabad. It's from Deuteronomy. It's called Re'eh, which means see, S-E-E. And it's supposed to be not only teach individual Israelite who is at the mount, but it was as a collective group of people. and cease. And again, please come to our Torah study tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. You know, it's always interesting. We start off on the Parsha and end up in Star Wars or Star Trek or whatever a lot of the time. So it's interesting. But one of the things that had happened was Moses, here's this old guy going up and coming down with these tablets all the time. I mean, the guy's approaching 120 years old. I mean, the guy's fasting every now and then, and he sees the Israelites not doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is kind of interesting. And every now and then, you know, he gets so ticked off, goes, I'm going to go fast for another 40 days. I can't even imagine what this man who's over 100 must be looking like, probably like a very emaciated Gandhi. But again, this is from Chabad. It says, see, says Moses to the people of Israel, I place before you a blessing and a curse, the blessing that will come when they fulfill God's commandments and the curse if they abandon him. These should be proclaimed on Mount Gerizim and Mount Ebal when the people crossed over into the Holy Land. And supposedly Mount Gerizim was, you know, green and bountiful and everything, and Mount Ebal was barren. So you have these two mounts as a contrast from one to the other. And it's basically saying, hey guys, which one do you want to be? You want to flourish? Or you want to, you know, be rotting, you know, and just full of dirt. So, I mean, it's amazing that we people survived, you know, the Israelites, you know. I think that's why we never eat pig, because we were so pig-headed all the time. So, again, a temple shall be established in a place that God will choose to make dwell his name there, where the people should bring their sacrifices to him. It is forbidden to make sacrifices to God in any other place. It is permitted to slaughter animals elsewhere, but not as a sacrifice, but to eat their meat. The blood, however, which is in the temple is poured upon the altar, may not be eaten. As I said, this just turns my stomach when I listen to these parts where the priest would take the blood of these innocent animals and just smear it all over the place. And it must have smelled kind of like a men's locker room after a while. It had to have been horrible, but just the whole idea, as I said, that the idea that it is actually pleasing to our Holy Spirit to smell burnt flesh. I mean, I have a hard time accepting that. And I have a hard time saying, because someone has sinned over the course of the year, they can slaughter an animal and that animal then becomes the scapegoat or the one who receives the sins for what that person has done. It's very difficult for me. I mean, it's just, again, a false prophet or one who entices others to worship idols should be put to death. An idolatrous city must be destroyed. The identifying signs for kosher animals and fishes and the list of non-kosher birds first given in Leviticus 11 are repeated. Now, again, this is all just my own conjecture. You know, it's the whole idea, you know, when they're talking about false prophets, it's like, you know, when people say, you know, whatever religion it is, that they go to Africa and they meet these people, that the only way they're going to be saved is if they convert to the religion of whoever is trying to proselytize them. And I find it difficult that you have centuries of these people who have received the word from their parents and grandparents. You worship the sun, you worship this rock, you worship whatever, and this is how you get your salvation. But as I said, you know, why we as the Israelis who are, you know, going into this new land have the right to then, or to being told by God, you must destroy everything. You must destroy the people, you must destroy the women, the kids, the animals, everything, simply because you are my people. Again, again, this is me. So, a tenth of all produce is to be eaten in Jerusalem or else exchanged for money with which food is purchased and eaten there. On certain years, this tithe is given to the poor instead. Again, here we go back. Firstborn cattle and sheep are to be offered in the temple and their meat eaten by the Kohanim, you know, by the priests. You know, all right, they have to eat also, but again, that's another story. The mitzvah of charity obligates a Jew to aid a needy fellow with a gift or a loan. And again, that's contradictory to what we're told is that supposedly, that whether you're rich or poor, you're supposed to be giving pretty much the same amount. So sometimes it's on this sabbatical year occurring every 7th year, all loans are to be forgiven and all indentured servers are to be set free. Our Parsha concludes with the laws of the 3 pilgrimage festivals, Passover, Shavuot, and Sukkah, when we go to see and be seen before God in the Holy Temple. So that it's quite a bit on this Parsha. I mean, I like discussion. Does anybody have any comments? Again, please come tomorrow morning at 11. It's easy to do. Any comments, any thoughts? As I said, we all have our own views of what's done. I mean, I'm over analytical on a lot of things, and unfortunately, looking at a lot of the things that it just makes me cringe.
I think some of it was the time they were living in.
Oh yeah, we're looking at it from
Culture where people are sacrificing humans.
absolutely.
You say you can't sacrifice anything, you just have to believe in this invisible God. That's a very hard line to sell.
But we're supposed.
Was this a waypoint in the evolution to say they're not just going to accept giving all this up altogether, they'll go back to their old ways? I don't know. I'm just saying though.
Oh yeah.
You have to consider the time that people were living in and what they might or might not have. How do we get people to take vaccines? Right? Well, we brought them with lottery tickets. Like, is that really the right way to get people to take vaccines? No, it's not. We should take them because it's the right thing to do. But we do that because that might get us in.
But we talk about that at Torah study all the time. We're looking at it through 21st century eyes for something that had been done a number of thousands of years ago. But if we're supposed to be a priest of a people of priests, that we're God's children, and all of a sudden we have laws about what we can eat, what we can't eat, what we're supposed to do. I mean, if you're going to make an exception by saying you can't eat, pigs or shellfish or bottom feeders or, certain, other types of mammals or fish or birds. As I said, and they're saying if we ever have a 3rd temple, that the ritual would be brought back. That's what a lot of the Orthodox are talking about is, when we got the new temple, when the new temple comes, of course, supposedly when the Mashiach comes. So, but it's just, as I said, it's just me. I just have a difficult time. I just love animals too much. And, you see this innocent creature and think, they're supposed to be the ones who are bearing the sins of what we did wrong. So it's just me. Anyone else? Any other comments? Okay. Rachala, you ready? We're gonna open the ark. Anyone want to open the ark for the Olenu? My hands been shaking. This doesn't work. Olenu l'shabeach ladon hakol, l'aseh tefillah li'aseh b'reshit, shelo asanu v'goyei haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu k'chol hamonam. V'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim livlei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu.
לשמיים יוצא הארץ,
ומושב יקרה בשמיים ממעל, ושכינה סוזו, ושכינה סוזו, וגופי מרומים. הוא אלוהינו אינו, אמס מלכנו אפס תורתו, הקודשו בתורתו, וידעתם, כי אדוני הוא אלוהים, בשמיים ממעל, ועל הארץ אינו, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד. Do you have the page for the morning?
294 for the Mourner's Kaddish.
We are right now in Shaloshim for Will Rosenthal, brother-in-law of Donna Bostoff, and the yard site for Rose Britz, Bernard Seplowitz, Dina Schwab, Saul Masaroff, Ida Levick, Arthur Kahn, Rosa Nathan, Belgol Tenenbaum, Louis Oster, Lowell Nathanson, Nathan Rosen, Isaac Sayer, Joseph Hoffman. And the services this week are in honor of the anniversary of Erica Schuster and Adam Buncella, and also in the memory of Ida Levick, Rosa Nathan, and Lowell Nathanson. Are there any other loved ones or people that you know who are in a period of Shaloshim or have yard sites? Mourner's Kaddish on page
294.
Yiskadal v'yiskadash shemei rabbah. Please write. Mod Ruth Yamlich Malchute B'chaye Chon v'yomei Chon B'chaye Dechol Beis Yisrael Ba'yola v'zman kori v'imru Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevarach Le'olam Le'omei Omaya. Yitzbarach v'yishtabach v'yishba'ar v'yishromam v'yitnaseh v'yitzhadar v'yithaleh v'yithalal shmei dekudusha barichu le'elam min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'amiram b'yama v'imru amen. Yehei shlomo rabba min shemaya v'chayim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Please be seated. Announcements, Janice?
Shabbat shalom, everybody. So there's several announcements for today. First of all, even before them, I'd like to thank both Joel and Rachel for doing services today. It was lovely. And reminders, Joel has already mentioned that there's Torah study tomorrow, and you can have a discussion with him about his thoughts and your thoughts on the Torah section. So please, there's a Zoom link for that. Please feel free to attend the Torah study tomorrow.
Bring your no-dos.
What's that?
And bring your no-dos.
not after discussing and with you.
Yeah.
On Sunday of this weekend, there, at 2 p.m., there will be an unveiling for Janet Rudolph at Laurel Hill Cemetery. Other announcements is Erie Gives Day. You've been hearing about this. It is now right upon us. Erie Gives is a great day to give to many charities, Temple Anshe Hesed being one of them. We got a lot last year from it. Remember that every donation you give is matched on Erie Gives Day. So if you want to give to the temple, it is a wonderful day to do it because there's extra money that we get from that. So to do that, there's a link, www. Bobby? Okay, yes, thank you. It's not matched, but you're right, very important. We'll get an extra bump with some additional monies. And that's true for every charity that you give to. So give to the temple, give to other charities for Erie Gives Day to help the community as a whole. And so it's just www.eriegive.org. And donations have to be over $25, by the way. So other things you might have gotten in the mail today. If not, it will be coming soon, an envelope like this. And so let me explain what this envelope like this is if you haven't gotten it yet. This is Josie Stout's bat mitzvah project. And I said I would read this for people so you know what it is and what's coming. And luckily, I got it in the mail today, so I can actually get to show it. But you'll have postcards that come from this, and this is her bat mitzvah project. And it is supporting, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, but it's Hesed. So basically she said, and I'm reading what her piece, everyone has the right to be treated equally. In honor of my bat mitzvah, I am working on a very important project to help members of the LGBTQ+ community. I contacted the organization Hesed, which helps support the Jewish LGBTQ+ community. Hesed is an amazing organization that advocates for the rights of LGBTQ+ people. One of the many things they are doing is helping people lobby their elected officials. Hesed is providing postcards to people like these, asking them to send them on to their senators. The postcards urge senators to sign the Equality Act. The Equality Act, if passed, would update the Civil Rights Act, which would prohibit people from discriminating against others based upon their sexuality or gender identity. If the Equality Act is not passed, people could be fired just because of their sexuality or gender identity. So in this envelope, she has postcards for the 2 postcards, because you have 2 senators, and instructions of how to send them out. So please take a few moments. It's an easy thing to do. And also, I'd like to tell everyone that the high holiday information has already been sent out. You should have gotten that either in the mail or through email. If you did not get that, please make sure the office knows, because there's a lot of important information in there about that. Shabbat shalom, everybody.
Want to do a don alarm? Yeah, can you find that in in this one? It's at 6:25.
You're asking a lot.
What can I tell you? I'm tough.
All right.
We're going to do our concluding our song is Adon Olam. Now in the Mishkan Tefillah, it's on 6:25, 3:21. There's no blue bracket on mine.
Oh, there is for ours. Yeah.
I know mine doesn't have it on there. Okay. But I always have I have a funny story with everything. In our shul back in Jersey, we used to always conclude with a Don Olam. I remember one of my best friends, bar mitzvahs. Believe it or not, I was a prodigious eater at 13, and up until I was about 25. I mean, I was 10 times skinnier than I am now, but I ate prodigious amounts of food. I taught tennis one summer up in Maine in an all-girls camp, which was tough. But I was eating on average probably 12 to 14 pancakes for breakfast, 4 sandwiches for lunch, and massive amounts for dinner. I lost 7 pounds the first month I was there. So when we did a Don Olam, my best friend called me up to the bima to lead the service at the end of the, of his bar mitzvah. And I said, Z, thank you so much for having me lead the service at the end. Why'd you do it? He goes, I wanted to make sure there was still food left over for everybody else in the Kiddush. So that's memories. Of course, we're talking 57 years ago. That's what's scary.
I'll follow you.
Okay. Adon olam asher molach b'terem kol yitzir nivra v'ez nasa b'chefzo kol azai melech shemo nikra v'acharei yichlos hakol levado yimloch nora V'hu haya, v'hu hoveh, v'hu yiyeh, b'sifara, v'hu echad, v'ein sheni, lehamshir lo, lehachbira, b'li reshit, b'li sachlit, Below Oz ve'hamizrach ve'hu eli ve'chai goli ve'sur chevli be'etz hara ve'hu nisi umanos li minas kosi be'yom ekra be'yado Afkid ruchin, be'ezishan be'ayira, imruchi gaviyasi, Adonai li v'lo ira. May everyone have a wonderful, healthy, non-COVID rest of the week and enjoy the sunshine. Another couple months, we're gonna have snow.
Shall we do a Kiddush?
Sure.
Kiddush? Mike, get up there. Hold up the thing. Just hold it up.